Alrighty, this is the PA High School Football Report. We are sponsored by OSS Health and, of course, powered by PennLive and the Patriot News and PA Media Group. All those names that show up on our checks week to week. We appreciate it. Of course, we want to thank to our producer, the wizard, Megan Lavey-Heaton. I've Frenched it up. I just made it Lavey. I think it's Lavey, but she can chime in on that one.
Yes, it's Lavey. It's Lavey-Heaton.
Yeah. Well, since
Don't you know
is kicking our tails in our weekly picks, I gotta move it around a little bit. So I gotta mix things up, throw her off her game a little bit.
Megan the Greek, as they call her.
Well, you wound up filling in 3 of my picks because my computer restarted automatically doing those automated updates that they force on your work laptops. Yes. They did that right in the middle of my picks.
That's perfect. Well, I will say this, though. Every time I make picks for people who don't complete their picks, those people do better than I do that week. So I'm not making any more picks for anybody.
Which is why Rymir currently has no picks.
That's right. It just hurts my percentage too much. Absolutely. All right, we're rolling right along here in what is called the second season, Dan, or postseason, if you will. Serious business, in other words. I'm veteran PennLive reporter Eric Epler. In this case, veteran. I substituted for the word old and injury prone. And say hello to proud Pitt grad Dan Sostek, who has experienced something I will never experience, having his alma mater ranked inside the top 25. How's it feel, buddy?
I mean, for all the negativity that even coming from me around Pat Narduzzi, the Pitt program, this is like, every other year it seems like they're in the college football playoff rankings, and it's one of those things. I kind of there's certain things in life where it's like, if you just don't follow the day-to-day of the process and then kind of just look at it in the
wait a minute. You didn't just pull out the process, did you?
No, I'm saying as a fan or as like an alum,
right.
if you like don't get so wrapped up in like the week-to-week stuff and then just look at it at the end of the day, be like, hey, nice, we're ranked, instead of, hey, they lost to a really bad West Virginia team when they dominated the entire game and stuff like that. Like, you just kind of have to accept with this program, it's never going to be sunshines and rainbows, but it's kind of inarguable that Pat Narduzzi's put together a pretty good resume during his tenure. He's probably one of the 4 most successful coaches in the history of Pitt football, which is a pretty impressive feat given that history. I mean, it's been a weird season though. Even locally, Sean Lee Jr., I've talked about it, but he just keeps playing better and better. He just had his first career pick 6. Hold on to the ball, though, when you cross the goal line.
Get across before you drop it.
Yeah, but he was named to the PFF National Team of the Week. They've got a freshman QB playing well. And it sounds like game day might be headed to Pittsburgh next week for Pitt Notre Dame, which should be fun.
And your boy Gruden got a hold of your freshman QB this week and did a whole 30-minute video with him.
Yeah, so, does it shock you that John Gruden and Pat Narduzzi are good friends?
It would shock me, yes.
No, Gruden and him are very tight. So
I know. I was being sarcastic.
Yeah, they are.
Yes, both of them are pure chaos, which is why
they're Ohio guys. So
I think I'd put Pat ahead of Gruden. I'm a little bit more of a Pat fan than I am a John fan.
Yeah,
that's just me. But listen, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows like you said for you this week. You got into a little trouble. So let's hash this out. What happened? We listen. We're transparent here. We when things go awry, we talk about it and let the audience, who has been so very good to us, lots of awards we won. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to give you a shot to kind of defend yourself. And tell the folks basically what's happening. I guess it's still happening at this moment, correct?
Yeah. So I don't even know where to begin with this. I opened up my Twitter account last night, and all of a sudden I can't do anything, and it says your account has been permanently suspended. Now, I imagine if you're listening to this podcast and you follow me on Twitter, I think you there's no reason for my account to be permanently suspended.
No reason whatsoever.
I'm tweeting game updates are very benign, like benign jokes. Or my last tweet was a Spotify link to Snowcap's album, which is a very good album. But this is not a music podcast. But I have no idea why I was suspended. I'm looking up on Reddit, and it says these suspension appeals can take anywhere from 2 days to 2 months, which is terrific. And my only guess for why I was suspended, the only thing I can possibly think of, is one of my last tweets was, I'm talking like I'm dead. One of my last tweets was that Aldi shouldn't require shopping carts. And I think a guest of it, or shouldn't require the quarters for the shopping carts. And I think our frequent guest of the frequent listener of the podcast, Carolyn Fortney, replied saying that they should and that it's genius because people don't return their carts. And I replied, I think, with some sort of tweet basically implying that if you don't return your shopping cart at a grocery store, you're a subhuman person and that you're evil or something. And the only thing I can think of is that some AI Twitter bot or whatever flagged that as hate speech and determined that my account needs to be permanently banned for rightfully calling out people who don't return shopping carts at a grocery store. It's one of the easiest things to do in the world. You know, you walk to get it, you can walk to put it back. But yeah, so now I'm permanently banned unless this appeal goes through, and the appeal is attached to my old email at a non-existent email at my old job. So yeah, look for on Twitter a new account that hopefully doesn't get suspended as well, because there could be a manhunt for me for that horrible tweet. But until then, if you're looking for updates from this Susquehanna Township game on Friday, you're going to be probably looking at a 20 follower account. So yeah, real fun evening. I was up late last night trying to figure out recourse, and yeah.
Let me unpack a few things from this. First of all, you were just standing up for all the employees who have to run around the parking lot to get the carts that people don't return. Yes. Number two is
correct. Yeah.
The second part is everyone has a quarter in their car, Dan. So I think you say you never could find a quarter. Yeah. Okay. Put a quarter in your car then. Just put one in today.
But that's my point. Is that I don't like begging people when I forget. It's the most embarrassing, dehumanizing thing to do. It's but I feel like a homeless person.
But Aldi gives you options. When you walk in the store, there's always a crate of boxes. You're a single guy. Guys just grab a box and carry a box around and throw stuff in it. I did that the other day. I put in the cheap. First of all Aldi's is spectacular. We both can agree about that.
It's terrific.
It's spectacular.
You shouldn't shop anywhere else.
To protect the Aldi brand, I think it's vital to let people know, hey, they give you a box. You can grab a box. You can pay $1 for one of those, I don't know, winter sling bag things. I don't know, and you can fit a lot in those.
Yep.
You can get plenty of their frozen sushi, which is terrific and cheap in those. The cheese selection is always on point. What else do you get in there that you really like? Jalapenos. You can get a stack of jalapenos for 79 cents.
Know what their best deal is for me is
what?
Their best deal is all their chips are so inexpensive. You can get these huge bags of tortilla chips for like $1.
And their chips are good too. I don't know, is there a Gibbles? Is something is it Clancy?
It's Clancy's.
Clancy's. Yeah. I had never had Clancy's potato chips, but I bought a bag the other day. Fabulous. They're terrific. Yeah. And cheap. Anyway, so Aldi has...
Yeah, I'm standing up for Aldi. I'm standing up for the people who don't have a quarter. And I guess apparently Elon Musk is very pro.
I would rather see them up the ante.
All that jazz. So.
I would rather see them up the ante and have and make it $1.25. That way, everyone would return their cards to get 5 quarters.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, so now we know that Elon doesn't return his shopping carts. So I don't think this is going to help me get my account.
Yeah, I think Eli has some issues. Anyway, all right, let's move on to some football. That's what we're here for, right? Week 12's here, Dan. We're going to sort of devote our entire time to making quality, well thought out, and researched picks. In other words, we're going to wing it all. Okay, so much on tap Friday and Saturday this week, November 7th and November 8th. And we're going to start with District 3 circuit, of course, and work our way through the brackets. We'll do this fairly rapidly, but we'll throw in a couple notes. We'll banter back and forth, of course, on a couple of picks, I think. And later we're going to get to a couple of mid-pen conference programs who are still operating outside of District 3 and hopefully running really hot toward a potential PIAA championship. We're exactly 1 month away.
Yep.
We're exactly 1 month away. I believe the championships are somewhere in that first week of December. So it is coming, brother. All right, let's go with 6A. District 3 6A, Dan. Really solid wins last week. I don't even know if our stories did it justice, but Cedar Cliff, I was there. Really terrific performance. As most know by now, Landon Howe, their featured back for first 9 weeks, is will not return to the lineup. He is out with a knee injury. But Alex Otero picked up the slack against Cedar Crest in that one, 100-plus yards in that one. Really helped the offense kind of move down. And, of course, the young quarterback, Lavey-Heaton, who's just gotten better week in and week out. We've talked a lot about him. And, 14, counted for 4 touchdowns in this one, 35-6 over Cedar Crest. Cedar Crest moves on. And, of course, Central Dauphin, that unbelievable 7-6 game against Cumberland Valley, where the touchdown came from Isaac Hodgson about, 2 seconds to go?
I think it was 3 seconds left.
3 seconds left to give them that victory over Cumberland Valley. We don't have a dog in any of these fights, but that was sort of a nice payoff for Glenn McNamee and his Rams, who really have been kind of up and down all year. It's been a struggle to find a consistency. We talked ad nauseum about CD. So for them to come in, especially come into Chapman Field and get that W was pretty damn cool to see for them. Okay. Friday night quarterfinals day in Cedar Cliff is at Central York. Of course, Central York scraped by a fraction to get the top seed over Harrisburg. Central York coming in 9-1. What do you think of this one?
I mean, it's a tall task. I think we can all agree on that for Cedar Cliff. But I was really impressed with Cedar Cliff's win over Cedar Crest. I think we had that as a pick 'em. I could be wrong last week. But Cedar Cliff coming off a really just you could probably call it lifeless. I think I wasn't at the game, but the Cumberland Valley Cedar Cliff game, I think you could call it kind of a lifeless performance from Cedar Cliff that game. Obviously, Landon Howell with an injury wasn't great, but that's been kind of how Colin Gillen has had this team play throughout his tenure. Right, they bounce back from stuff really well, and to bounce back from that game and not just beat a good Cedar Crest team, but kind of throttle them, right? Like kind of dominate that game. I think they're playing good football, and I saw them play against Harrisburg, and in that game, they were not outmatched for the first half of the game. It was 14-0. They could have had a touchdown. There was a touchdown that was ruled incomplete that was very close to being a touchdown. It could have been a 14-7 game at the half. Their coaches know what they need to do to beat these kind of higher-powered teams. And what's the dig against Central York every time you get the playoffs? I don't personally subscribe to it. I just think, 6A is really good. But there's always some questions when you get these Central York teams in the playoffs. Who have they played against? And then who has a team like Cedar Cliff played against? Cedar Cliff has gone against Harrisburg. They've gone against State College. They've gone against Bishop McDevitt. They've gone against Cumberland Valley. They are playing a gauntlet. They've gone against Central Dauphin and beat Central Dauphin, who's in the second round of playoffs. It's just the test, like the battle testedness. You got to give a slight edge to Cedar. I know Central York went and played a tough, non-state game, but that's got to be what Cedar Cliff hangs its hat on. It's like, they haven't been through what we've been through. We've played teams this good before, and the results haven't gone Cedar Cliff's way. But I don't think Colin Gillen's team is going in there with the idea, hey, we're a 16-point underdog. Let's lose by 14. I think they're going in there saying, hey, let's shock the world. We've got enough talent. I really like Blake Seacrest, too. I don't think we've talked enough about him on the podcast. He's a weapon on offense. He's had a great year defensively. And I think he could be a major impact player in this game. That said, though, Central York does have, I've kind of spent all this time saying, here's why Cedar Cliff will win or could win. But man, that Central York team's pretty loaded. I mean, you've obviously got Brendan Smith at wideout. I can't believe I'm Brooklyn Nace at quarterback. I couldn't even remember his name. Legend Johnson at running back. The offense is always going to be good under Gary Yonchik, and the defense has just been pretty lights out this year for the most part. So you got to lean Central York, but I don't know if it's going to be. I picked the Central York blowout just because it's hard to pick against that when they've been this dominant. But would I be shocked if this is a 28-21 game in the third quarter? I don't think I would.
Yeah, I agree with all points you were saying. The thing about this Central York team is it does not seem like they have. It almost seemed in the past that there was a big sort of turnover game that they'd have to scrape by and win in years past. This team doesn't make many mistakes. They just don't. I think all the guys being veterans and the offensive line obviously being tremendously tight knit group, they just don't make any mistakes that other teams can really capitalize. But you're right about the schedule. I mean, it is what it is. They just get zero resistance. I mean, York High is the closest thing. Mm-hmm. And I think that game was 30, 40 point thing win for them too. So
it's not any insult to Central York at all. It's just
it happens. I mean, it's just but there's been years when Southwestern has been good. There's been years when Dallastown and Redline and these teams have been good. But they just it hasn't been the case lately. It just hasn't. Yeah. They're not. It's not the same as Cedar Cliff going and playing a Central Dolphin. No. It's apples and oranges because you know what you're going to get. I mean, the Central Dolphin might not be the most gifted team athletic-wise this year, but they're going to show up and play 110%. And you're going to have to beat them in the trenches, and that's how you have to win. And Central York has not had to go through that. Nope. Now I will say, playing a tough Archbishop Hoban team, where you had a shot to win in the fourth quarter, and then things derail. That's something that I don't see happening against Cedar Cliff. But you're going to like Blake Seacrest, too, because he's got a big old club on his left arm now.
Yeah, I've seen that. So he's not going to be – I guess I shouldn't have said he's going to be a receiving threat. But
he caught a touchdown.
Did he catch it? I didn't see him playing too much offense before with the arm injury. But is he playing with the broken –
He's got the club on. Yeah. Yeah, he can use it.
Those Seacrests are gamers. They are gamers.
They are gamers.
Yeah.
I got a chance to talk to him and Will Coker, who had a phenomenal game too, the linebacker for them.
He's had such a good year. I mean, I know that I think he kind of has gone a little under the radar this year because there've been a lot of big defensive players, but he's really captained that group and has had, especially with some of the injuries they've had. I think he's really kind of led that group too.
I agree, and it was funny because as Josh Gillen, the defensive tackle, obviously another strong, talented player, was coming by me after the game. He's like, "Hey, did you see my interception?" And I was like, "Even better, I saw your 20-yard run on a fake punt," which was fabulous to see. So anyway, those guys are obviously, they've got their ears pinned back, and I think you're right. I mean, the worst thing to happen here is obviously Central York to get up, but I think this is a pretty gritty Cedar Cliff side, and I think they could give the Panthers some fits early on. I really do. Okay, York High at Wilson. I think we'll both agree that Wilson is probably top to bottom a little superior in this one. York High seem, even when they take a loss and maybe it's a bad loss, a couple of TD loss game. There's something always scary about York High. You feel like if it all comes together, you're going to get throttled.
Yeah.
And I get that feeling with this team too. I know there's, what are they, 6-3, something like that, 7-3. But yeah, I get that feeling. But Wilson's just a few levels above in my book. But I do think this will be a relatively small margin.
Yeah. I I forget what exactly I picked. Let me look. See, I think it's gonna. I'm just leaning towards the Doug Doms factor, where it's like it's really hard this time of year to pick against Wilson football,
It is.
especially in the first couple rounds. I like their kind of makeup of their team. Um, I think they have. It's one of those teams where it's not one person doing everything. It's really tough to kind of game plan for because they just spread the ball all around all different places. Their tight end Michael Glover is a real matchup problem.
Yeah.
And it's tough to beat Wilson when they're kind of firing all cylinders at this time of year, especially when you got to go to Wilson to do it, right? That's a tough place to play. Beautiful, beautiful park. Whenever I talk about Wilson, I talk about how helpful everyone there is too. They print you out stats at halftime. The only school in the Mid-Penn that does that. It's terrific. So, I mean, York High, we've seen the ceiling of them, right, which is 90 something points. So you can never really count out that team, but I like Wilson to get it done. I just think I think this is one of those Wilson teams that does everything that one of the best coaches. Probably, I think it's fair to call him one of the best coaches in the state history of the state. Right?
Yeah, you won't get any
I just think
argument. Yep.
Yeah, I just think it's one of those teams that does everything he looks for in a football team.
Yep, absolutely. All right, 2 more quarterfinals on tap in 6A. I will be at Severance Field Saturday for Central Dolphins' visit to the Cougars. Cougars, of course, idle last week, so they are prepped and ready for this one. This game already happened, of course, during the Commonwealth Division schedule. 27-7, something like that. Harrisburg win.
Yeah, whatever the score was. I don't think it really indicated how how one-sided it was. It was 27-0. Central Dauphin didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, the Central Dauphin didn't really come particularly close. It was a dominant game that I think it was one of those Harrisburg games where they fumbled a couple times in the red zone and had a couple a couple punt issues. I think he scored a punt return touchdown as well. It was a weird game, but it wasn't. It was. I would say, because I was there, I would say it's probably not as close as the score indicated. Messiah Mickens fumbled close to the goal line. It was Messiah's first game back too. They were figuring out a lot of stuff. So,
right,
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see if Messiah Mickens can play. I mean, obviously, he's been out again as well, so that's a big factor for them. But yeah, again, this defense is it's tough to grind out 60, 70-yard drives on this defense, and for Central Dauphin to kind of do that without really a proven passing game is pretty difficult, tall task to ask of them. Hempfield at Manheim Township, Dan, they played this one before too. I believe it was right around a 20-point win, 34-13, something like that. I don't know it off the top of my head, but Hempfield's one of those teams too that's kind of been struggling a bit just to kind of take that next step this season. But they always sort of play it tough. And Manheim Township, of course, is one of the kingpins in the district in 6A. For us, they've got some championship sort of appearances the last couple of years, and they always play the Mid-Penn squads tough. So now they get Hempfield, which is pretty familiar for Mark Evans' company.
Yeah. I mean, when I look at 6A, one of the things that always stands out to me is how many of these teams are they're more than just teams, they're programs, right? It's like Wilson program, Harrisburg program. Manheim Township is a capital P program under Mark Evans. It's just like, I don't think we expect them to be as good as they've been this year, losing such a key part to their team on both sides of the ball and Declan Clancy, and they simply have. I mean, They've been more of a passing team this year. They do have a run game as well, but I think they've aired it out a little bit more. Kind of a little bit closer to the Hayden Johnson days, right, when he was on Landon Kennel. But I think that this is Manheim Township's game to lose. Hempfield's a nice little story, kind of battling against the playoffs. They feel a little like Central. I mean, they've got a better record than Central Dauphin, but they feel a little Central Dauphin-y, right? Where they had to battle to get to this point. And I don't think they're going to go down easy, but I think that it's a game that Manheim Township should lose.
This is running into a wall here for them. All right, let's move on to Class 5A. We'll quicken the pace a little bit here. Spring Grove at New Oxford. This one should be interesting. I know you're probably most will look at Spring Grove and say, "Oh, it's an 8 seed," but
they're talented.
The Rockets are talented. I will tell you that. And obviously, they've got a bunch of running backs here where they share the ball, they share the wealth in this one, and they've gotten a pretty good defensive set as well. They seem to be an opportunistic group, and obviously they pulled off a win last week. So I still think New Oxford is a legit. They're a legit 10-0. We've all seen not legit 10-0s because of schedule and stuff like that. But I'm not concerned that New Oxford beat up on a lot of subpar or sub 500 squads. Because they just took out West York, playoff team still alive, Warwick playoff team still alive, and obviously Eastern York came in with bells on too into the season. So I like New Oxford in this one, but I'm telling you, this could probably go either way.
Yeah, I picked Spring Grove just because this is the time of year when you're trying to make up some ground, you kind of have to be a little bold. But I picked Spring Grove. I picked Spring Grove because I kind of like their talent for for kind of an upset win. If you're looking for upset spots, this could be one of them. I know that they've got a young running back, Kate Gibbs. It's a real good player. They've played a lot of teams tough. It's always tough when you're picking against a team like New Oxford, though, where it's like, where's the proof that you should pick against them?
Right.
And frankly, it's partially what I said. It's a strategic. If you're the only one that gets this right, you get some brownie points. So we'll see. That should be a good one in 5A, though.
Yeah, number 5 seed Warwick is at number 4 seed Solanco. Big old showdown in Quarryville. Warwick, of course, is the ones who took out Shippensburg last week, 23-7. Heath Schnipke, obviously, is their sort of bell cow back. He had a big game against the Greyhounds, a couple of TDs, over 100 yards. I just think Solanco is maybe a rung above. This kid Garcia for them, their fullback, is a tough hombre to bring down. He's about he's right around 1,500 yards so far, and they've also got kind of a change of pace back. Chris Wise, who's been really really good too. So I like Solanco here, but I do think Warwick is kind of our Shippensburg again, even though they took him out last week. Where they play you tough and they sort of make you win ugly.
Yeah.
But I do think Solanco will get by.
I picked Warwick. I really like that win over Shippensburg. I just think that it's tough. It's tough to take out a team like Shippensburg in that first round. It's just like a lot of times I look at those first round games and it kind of tells me a lot about where you are as a team. I kind of thought Shippensburg would just play its typical, we're going to win this game 17 to get a late fumble recovery touchdown, win 24-10 or something like that.
Right.
Warwick's a gritty team, and again, it's another one of those spots. It's like, hey, maybe I can get another upset pick and get a leg up on Megan the Greek. But I think. Oh wait, no, sorry, excuse me. I picked Solanco. I didn't even read it correctly. I'm forgetting my own picks, but I do think Warwick's going to keep it closer.
I agree. Warwick plays tough. Like I said, they're going to muddy the water a little bit. They're not going to make it easy on Solanco. But I do like the Mules to move on here. This one, to me, is an absolute toss-up. It was a toss-up during the regular season, 21-17 game. Number 7, Exeter Township goes to number 2, Conestoga Valley. Of course, the Buckskins are a perfect 10-0 team as well. I think there's only about 20 undefeated teams left in the state.
Yeah.
I think 19 or 20, somewhere around there.
Yeah, we'll
And
see if any of them even make the state. It's always
yeah,
interesting because it's like a lot of times these state championship games feature teams that have suffered losses because a lot of these teams that lose are, again, we're back to the schedule thing, are playing some of the toughest schedules in the area, in the
right.
state. So,
Yeah,
we'll see.
whoever comes out of this is not going to be surprising one way or the other. I do know Riley Martinez is back, the quarterback for Exeter. Came
That's
back
big.
last week after a long absence for an injury. That is huge for them. And, of course, the Eagles, I think, like I said, I think it was a 21-17 ball game in the regular season, a Conestoga Valley win. But things are a little different now. So, obviously, This is a pick-em to me. I did take Exeter in this one. I think you did as well.
Mm-hmm.
But by a very close margin. This should be a whale of a ball game. It absolutely
Yeah,
should.
I think Exeter is just. I think they have a little more. They have more methods to kind of move the ball. I think it's going to be kind of a little bit of a drag it out game, despite kind of the offense.
Could be.
I've got 23-13. I just think, Exeter's always able to kind of run the football the last few years, and getting that boost to getting Riley Martinez back is going to be massive for that group. This is the time of year where these games are really hard to pick, but I'm going with the team that was in the district championship game last year.
Yeah. All right, finally, we get the rematch. Last year, of course, was semifinal round, but this year's quarterfinal. Number 6 Mechanicsburg visits The Rock to face number 3 Bishop McDevitt Friday night. Okay. We both agree. We've talked about McDevitt being the lead dog in 5A here for this title. But can Mechanicsburg A, make it a 4-quarter game, and B, potentially defeat Bishop McDevitt?
I think they can. I'm picking McDevitt just because, again, this is like I just can't pick against Bishop McDevitt in the 5A district playoffs until they prove me wrong. Like, it's just
Right.
obviously they've only been in 5A for 2 years, but I can't pick. But I absolutely could see a world where Mechanicsburg wins, and I'll tell you the kind of the recipe for it is that defensive line going up against a kind of a banged up offensive line for Bishop McDevitt.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're going to have to double Colin Stair. I think they're just going to have to. Like, Redland had no answer for Colin Stair. He completely wrecked the game. And I believe they started doubling him. You're doubling him throughout the game, but I think they kind of were decided at a certain point after a drive where I think he had a sack, then literally just broke through the tackle and ruined a run play on third down. You're going to have to find a way to block him. And I think that this McDevitt offensive line has improved as the year's gone, but it's still kind of a younger, Jude Slover's a veteran, but they've got some younger players on that front as well. And I just think Colin Stair is a real game wrecker. So I think if they can do that, they can keep the game kind of tight. I just worry about the offense because it's a real run-heavy offense.
Yeah, that's the key.
And Bishop McDevitt's linebackers these are not the linebackers you're playing in the key. No disrespect to any linebacker in the Keystone Division, but you're not getting a linebacking core of Zach Brown, Maurice Barnes, and Nazir Jones Davis in the Keystone Division. And, Reese Miller's had a tremendous year. Noah Apple's had a tremendous year. I just can't. I just don't see them breaking those 70-yard runs that they seem to break every single game at some point. Every game, Noah Apple feels like there's one play where he just breaks loose, beats everyone down the line, 70 yards for a touchdown. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'll do it, but I just think that if McDevitt has to be favored because of the defensive edge they're going to have in this. Not defensive edge, but the defense matching up with the offense.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the two most important guys on the field for this one are Chris Thompson and Ja'Kai Logan.
Yep.
Bishop McDevitt defensive tackles. If they're able to kind of not only, not control the line of scrimmage, but if they take up enough space and they're going to take up 3 guys because they're that good, then you're going to leave those linebackers free, and I think Mechanicsburg could struggle to run the ball. I think also, obviously Mechanicsburg can throw the ball, but I think that obviously that's not the preferred method of travel. And I think if you get those two guys up front, kind of handling the load that they're going to get put on them, I think it could be a tough day for Mechanicsburg to move the football consistently against McDevitt. So that's basically why I give McDevitt the edge. I still believe that you're right. The offensive line is banged up a little bit still, but there are so many options to go to, and of course you can always throw it deep and take a few shots, which McDevitt has the option of doing that, and that's something that Mechanicsburg really has not faced a ton of, so far in the Keystone ranks. So I like McDevitt, but I think you're right. I think they can muddy it up a little bit, and maybe get this in deep into the second half. So, all right, we're going to whisk through, just make picks now in 4A. Elko's at Susquehanna Township. I think we both like the Indians.
Yep.
Yeah. And Peter Strasburg at Wyomissing. That's a 5 out of 4. They did this just a few weeks ago. Wyomissing with close to a 40-point win. In this one, I anticipate it being closer. This game is Saturday in Reading. I still like Wyomissing. I think they're ticked off in the fact that they, took a big one against Twin Valley, and I think they're looking to make a statement. This is a tough road for the Pioneers.
Yeah, I've got it. Same exact read. I've got Wyomissing winning in a closer game, 27-14. I just think again, this is just kind of my general. To beat the man, to be the man, you got to beat the man, and Wyomissing is the man in 4A until proven otherwise.
And you got to beat the rep too. You know, you got to beat
especially
the rep.
At Wyomissing. I think the way Wyomissing falls is when you play them in the playoffs at Wyomissing, it's a weird sort of. You've been there before, right? It's idyllic. It's like, and then all of a sudden you're covering a game and you totally forget you're at Wyomissing. The first touchdown scores. And then the cannonball goes off, and
cannon goes off
every single time. And it's this weirdly, it's not the loudest crowd, but it's this weird sort of. It almost puts you in a trance when you're at that game. It's so, it's just so like pristine and idyllic down there in Wyomissing.
It almost feels too like there's enough seating for 1,000 people, but 3,000 people are there. They're in lawn chairs around the edges and stuff. Yeah. It's a great atmosphere, great field, and obviously, the natural surfaces.
It feels like you're back in like the 1940s or something almost.
You know what it feels like? What's the movie that Brendan, with the guy, what's his name? The old school movie where they don't like him because he's Jewish. He plays
School Ties.
School Ties.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
Like that.
Great comparison.
Yes,
it's the exact same vibe.
That field,
except without any of the baggage of that.
Without any of the whole storyline, but just the field, the football field. Yeah. Everybody goes and gets tea sandwiches after the game. I get it. Yeah. This one to me this next one is so interesting to me. And again, I know West York is a strong program, solid. Middletown comes to town, a 10-2 seed. And I tell you what, I don't put anything past this Middletown team. I don't do it. Obviously a big win last week for them. I think they can play with West York. Am I just throwing it out there? I don't know.
Sorry, I was just reading a message that I think our editor's Twitter account was also suspended. So which if I'm reading that correctly, I think maybe there's an attack on our coverage. But sorry, but yeah, I think I believe that this is I think this is a really interesting matchup because of how Middletown has played a bunch of teams.
Yeah.
It seems like they're one of, I said about Cumberland Valley, and Middletown's kind of sneaking up there with this rep where it's like, they're just going to put you in a dogfight and they might not win every game, but darn well, this is going to come down to the last couple possessions. West York has been tested this year though.
Oh,
We
yeah.
talked about that with Central York that, maybe they haven't been quite as tested as some of these other teams. I think this West York team has.
Yep.
They've played some tough games. They're very talented. We obviously know the safety quite well, Julius Fuentes Bream, former Bishop McKenna,
Yes.
which I think is a really cool story. Not that I'm happy anyone leaves Bishop McDevitt or leaves the Mid Penn or whatever, but to go to West York to play with his brother, have a great year there. West York, get them 9-1. One of my good friends is a West York alum. He will never listen to
Nice.
this podcast in a million years, but he always asks me how West York's doing, and past few years I've been able to tell him quite well. So I've got West York in this game. I just think that they've earned the right to be the favorites in this one. But would it shock me if this is a Middletown 1-point win in one of the weirdest games you've ever seen? No,
Nope.
not at all.
I agree with you completely. All right, the last one in 4A, West Perry's at Twin Valley. Twin Valley is obviously the toast of this division until somebody proves otherwise. They proved it during the regular season in beating two of the top contenders and Wyomissing and Lampeter Strasburg, both handedly, almost by 40 points each. I know we have Susquehanna Township lurking there in the top half of the bracket, and we could get that matchup in the championship, but I think that's something everybody wants to see. But man, I tell you, this is just a tall assignment for the Mustangs, and I, we talk a lot about grit and teams that sort of play you ugly and make you work for every inch, like the Shippensburgs and Middletowns and Mechanicsburgs of the world. I'll tell you what, West Perry's one of those teams. Bud Bowden, we love. Tremendous coach, tremendous motivator, tremendous all-around dude. He'll have the guys ready, but man, I'm telling you, this Twin Valley team is just it's a different animal.
Yeah, I agree. I picked West Perry to cover, but kind of a cheeky cover because you lined it at plus 25. I picked
I did, yeah.
Twin Valley 38-14. I would have liked to see this game, if West Perry's been a little banged up this year too. I think that West Perry's a team that, doesn't care who you are lining up. We saw it last year when they beat
Right.
Susquehanna Township. They're going to play teams tough, and we've seen them. I think the one thing they have going for this is that they are good in moments of adversity, right? They don't fold in these games. But it's a lot of firepower to deal with at West Perry or Twin Valley. A lot of firepower, and if I'm Bob Bowden, I'm telling him, like, do not look at that missing game. Do not look at that score. Do not watch that film. Just worry about what you guys are doing, because it's like you can't be having your mind that this team beat the team that was kind of your bugaboo during your heyday, right? And that they kind of made them look like mincemeat a couple times. So you basically just have to tell, like, hey, we're able to move the ball. We moved the ball against Susquehanna Township a couple times. Let's see what we can do here. I wouldn't be shocked, if West Perry. It seems like every one of these tough games, West Perry comes out and scores quickly, and then kind of things unfold. But Twin Valley's the favorite until proven otherwise.
All right, let's move quickly now. Just a 3A semifinal. We'll talk about Trinity and Annville Cleona. This is a 3 versus 2 in Annville Friday night, 7:00. I like Trinity. I think Trinity's going to win the district, so obviously I'm not going to pick them or pick against them. I got a 26-13 game in this one. I just think the Rocks overall are on a mission, and I think they're the toast of this classification. No disrespect to Annville, who's had a tremendous season, obviously sitting there 8-2, fell a couple times late in this season, and you still got Bermudian Springs up on the top end with the number 1 seed in Berks Catholic. So, but I like Trinity in this one, Dan. Who do you like?
I've got Trinity 24-21. I put it incorrectly in the picks, but I've got Trinity winning. I was talking about this with someone. We were kind of discussing, who are some of the, like, if you had to rank some of, like, it's hard to rank coaches from the outside, but
Right.
The job Kevin Yarnovich has done in his 2 years at Trinity is up there with anybody in the Mid-Penn. I'd say because I think when he took over that job, from the outside, we kind of looked at, wow, he's kind of taken over a program that has lost all their sort of young, not all, but a lot of young talent from that group, right? They lost
Yes.
Messiah Mickens, they lost Michael Shank, they lost Chris Thompson, just all these guys leaving, and they have not batted a single eye, and have been. What's so impressive to me about them is that they just seem so workmanlike, right? It's not like this high flying for every game's 45-52 nothing or whatever. It's every game, they just kind of win like 27-7, 24-10, where the result is never really in doubt, and they just know how to win football games. They know how to manage these games. The defense is terrific. Marcus Yeager, I don't think we talk enough about that kid. Just a really, really good pass rusher, linebacker that also does some stuff on offense as well. Good basketball player as well. Maddox Rzazinski has had a terrific year. And a kid to keep an eye on for the next few years is their running back, Brandon Harris. Big bruising back for just a sophomore. I would not be shocked if in a couple of years he is among the very league leaders in rushing in the mid-pen. So, yeah, I've got Trinity winning this one. I think Anvil-Cleon will be a tough matchup. But like I said, I just think Trinity knows how to win these football games.
Yeah, Anvil-Cleon is a solid program. Just absolute solid program. And
Dutchman.
They Dutchman. They make you fight. All right, yes or no? Lime Mountain wins another District 4 1A football title. They host Montgomery Friday night. Yes or no?
My thing with this matchup is Lime Mountain's a little banged up, which is always the things you can't really keep track of.
Yeah, Max Johnson's still not back. Caden Dunkelberger got hurt. So, yeah, they're going to have to rely a little bit on Dalton Shadle. Bryce Smeltz is going to be more in the picture. But I just think I don't see
they've got so much depth for a 1A team.
Yeah.
For a 1A team, they have so much depth. And that's why they've been able to survive these losses. So I've got them winning this. I do think they need at least one of those kids back if they want to make a run to the state title, though. I don't think they can get this. I don't think they can't, but I think it's a uphill mountain, not a line mountain, an uphill mountain, so to speak, to get to the state title without those guys getting back.
All right. District 6, 4A, Juniata takes on Bellefonte for the 4A title in District 6. This should be a good matchup.
Yeah, I'm going Juniata. It's obviously another kind of team that looks a little different, but has some familiar pieces. I'm just going with the guys who've got it done the last few years, and going with Jasper Sheps and Juniata.
Yeah, Juniata sort of owned this rivalry over the last couple of years. So, but that should be a good one. And then finally, two district champions who won their titles uncontested. How about that? State College, of course, we saw a lot of them during the regular season. And McDowell did not have to play Erie High. Erie High, of course, opted out for lack of players, healthy players. So they win the District 10 title. This is a sub-regional game. And this takes place in chilly Erie. Who do you like?
I'm going State College as much as I would love to pick James Connor's alma mater.
There you go.
Who did follow me on my old Twitter account, but so now I think I've lost the James Connor
Now you've
follow.
lost him because you're suspended because you're standing up for all these.
So James, if you're listening to this, you can follow my new Twitter account, and we can hash out our old pit days together. But I like this State College team a lot. I think it's a good McDowell team, but I think State College, I think with the way Deontay Sheffy's been playing, that sort of, they haven't, last year they made it as far as they did without a real sort of super consistent running game. The running game was good, but I don't think it was this level of good. They obviously made up for it with Ty Salzer and Eddie Corkery. But I think this is a really balanced team, and I think it's going to be tough to take them out until you get to the big boys.
It is. This has been a shootout. This matchup's happened 4 times in the past. This will be the 4th time in the past 5 years, I think, that they've met in this stage. There's been a shootout. There's been a defensive struggle. It's been a little bit of everything. But I agree with you. I think State College comes in ticked off after dropping that regular season finale to McDevitt. Obviously, that's a stinger. So they have that 2 weeks to get healthy and prepare. I think they'll be ready to take out McDowell. There you have it. All right, we ran through all the District 3 playoffs and a couple other districts are in action. One sub-regional in the PIAA. Lots and lots of football happening Friday and Saturday. Bundle up, put the gloves in your pockets, get out to see a ball game. And, of course, come back next week. We'll talk all about it and maybe throw in a guest or two as well. You have been listening to the PI High School Football Report. For Dan Sostek, I'm Eric Epler. Join us next week.